Hello guys, welcome back to the Crew Wild Run. Driving all cars, part number 37. The Dodge Viper SRT-10 Coupe, the 2010 version. There are two Vipers in this game, also a 2013 version which comes with the season pass if I'm not mistaken. Then you can sort of get it for free or buy it for CC, something like that. This car on the other hand is kind of free. If you start playing this game you get some awards that you unlock both in game but as well on the Uplay overlay. And once you have reached 100 points, 100 Uplay points, then you unlock this car. Then you can download it and then it will be available the next time you log on. It will be available in your garage. It comes in a performance and a circuit spec. In full stock we are already going over 300 kilometers an hour, so probably not that bad, but we'll see. I can't exactly remember what the plus and minuses were for the 2013 version, but I think it kinda oversteered quite a bit and is kinda drifting through corners. So, which kinda made it a plus for the fun factor, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see if this is a 3-year-older version, so we'll see what this one can do. As I said, performance and circuit, 2 specs for this one. If I can find it and take the right one out. There it is, 2010 Coupe, or Coupe as you say in the States. Here in Europe we say Coupe on sort of French term. Performance spec, then we are talking the fastest time 22.8 for the what is it, the Aston Martin Vanquish. And the slowest one was 25 something, I believe. Towards 340 at the finish, so top speed it probably will have. 24.654. That is well, yeah, that is kinda on the slow side of the table. I have quite a bit of 23-second cars here in performance, and it's a mid 24, so it is below average compared to the other performance specs. That is something we can say already. The circuit spec, I have driven it recently in Summit PvP. Was one of the cars that we got there in one of the races. And surprisingly it was not that bad. But unfortunately it suffers from Wheelspin. The performance spec as well, but the circuit spec for sure. Other than that it's pretty decent though. Especially seeing it's kind of a free car. Usually those are rubbish, but well, not really the case with this one. 23.4. That is also sort of average, but more on the above average side. For performance I would say it's a bit below average, and this one is a bit above average, acceleration wise that is. And the main problem with is that the wheel spin, which is kind of minus of this for this car. If it wouldn't have the wheel spin, it probably would be yep, a contender in circuit. A quick look on our little track here. Well, I'm not doing it free drive challenge anymore. And probably from the next videos on, well, the next one I already recorded as well, so there I still do it, but I got stuck again in the black screen for the dirt test for that car. So I think I'm gonna leave out the free drive challenges and just go to the track. If you follow the series, you know the tracks by now. It's always this track where I test the street performance and circuit specs, and for the dirt and the raid I use the other track. But driving around a bit in free drive, then do the acceleration test, which is also a free drive challenge. And then sometimes you get the black screen, and then I have to reboot the game, and it's taking time, and it's well. I mentioned that already in a couple of videos. There are 83 parts coming for this series. There are 83 full stock cars. Well, 87 to be exact, if you also count the street editions, but I don't test those because, well, they are useless. Because if you want to get the other spec for those specific cars, you still need to buy the normal ones as well. So the street editions are something I will not test. Other than that, meanwhile, we are kind of going smoothly over this little track. S corner coming up. It is pretty handleable if you consider it might going to drift on you a bit, so hit the brakes a bit in advance before corners, and then you might just smoothly go over tracks with this thing. It will oversteer a bit though. Going towards the downhill section, performance spec we are speaking, so we should reach around 400 kilometers if I don't hit things here. That is sort of on the better half of things. 397, 399, yeah, we will probably on a longer straight get to 400. So it's kind of okay top speed wise. That's probably a plus for this car. It slides a bit, but I have a feeling that the 2013 version, the SRT Viper GTS, that oversteers more than this one. I might have to do a heads up once I have some time after this series or something to check them both. But I think this is better than the 2013. Maybe not speed wise or something, but yeah, handling wise it is. But like I said, there is also a circuit spec and that have driven in Summit PvP recently, and that is pretty good as well. So the best use for this car will probably be the circuit. If it can reach a decent top speed on the downhill there, yeah, then the best use will be the circuit. But also the performance spec is not that bad. That doesn't mean that you are going to be able to keep up with LaFerraris and Huayras, and which we still have to test, but those are kind of the OP cars for performance. Unfortunately, they are a bit too high above the rest, so everybody is using Huayra, or a lot of players at least, if you go to performance. That's kind of a shame, because, well, brakes seems to be a problem here. There are 70 plus performance specs and I don't know, 40 or 50 plus circuit specs. But in circuit spec you have a few options, although, well, yeah, Ferrari 458 is also kinda outstanding there, but in performance it's really, yeah, it's Huayra against the rest, and some cars on some tracks can keep up. LaFerrari, the Koenigsegg, maybe if you're a bit, how should I say it, able to drive that thing, which is a bit of a tricky thing, but yeah. Meanwhile I'm doing skill tests because my world spots are back on. Normally I put the world spot on off when I'm recording these kind of videos. But I have been doing a bit of summit events, and then yeah, have to put the wheel spots on, otherwise I can't enter unless I go over the map. But oops, yeah, a bit too much confident here. Went in that corner way too fast. So this was not really the car's fault, but more like my fault. But it has decent acceleration, so we might get enough speed on the downhill after all. Circuit spec, so we are trying to get around 420 here. A bit tricky. No, that's a bit short. Yeah, that is a bit short. It was kinda limiting towards 405 it seemed. The RPM meter was almost in the red zone. So it is most likely that it only has like top speed in a solo run like this 4.5, 4.10 maybe, which is a bit short compared to 10-15 kilometers an hour compared to other cars. So I don't know. It was kinda okay in the summit event, but summit PvP, but yeah, everybody was driving the same car, so we were almost all dealing with the same thing. So I don't know. I would say circuit spec at first, but now that I see the top speed, maybe the performance spec is the best to use. Yep, I will go for performance as the best use. But although the circuit spec has a pretty good handling as well. I was a bit too confident there in that one corner, there, so that was my mistake. It just lacks a bit of top speed in circuit, it seemed. Which is kind of surprisingly, I thought it was pretty good. Maybe for ovals and something with some draft it might have a decent draft top speed. I'm not aware of that. I haven't used it for that yet. But yeah, it suffers a bit from Wheelspin. It has a decent top speed and it handles kinda okay. So it is a bit of an above average car, although you might have some problems if you come up to the better specs as well in performance as in circuit. I will see you guys in the next one, and bye for now.